Today we're talking about muscle building and losing fat at the same time. So if you're over 50 and you want to change the way that you look, you need to watch this video. I've coached over 1,000 people over the age of 40, and it turns out if you're struggling to build muscle and lose fat at the same time, there's only 4 mistakes that you could be making. And if you solve for these mistakes, your body will change dramatically. So in this video, I'm going to break down all 4 of them and give you tactical examples and tips for how to fix each one. By the way, I'm Gary and I co-own New Zealand's only fitness studio for people over 40, and fitness coaching is all I do all day long. Okay, now before I walk through the 4 main mistakes that you're making with losing fat and building muscle, let's just quickly talk about what's been happening to your body, because this will give the whole video the context that it needs. See, you've been hit with age-related muscle loss, and by the time you're 50, there's a good chance you've lost about 20% of your muscle mass. And by 60, it's more like 30, and 70, maybe as high as 40%. So to lose body fat and build muscle after 50, you must do these 4 things. So the first mistake you're making, you may not actually be resistance training. And if you're not resistance training, you're definitely not building muscle. And the second mistake, which comes under resistance training, is that you might not even be working hard enough in the first place. So a lot of times that we need to be resistance training, we need to be doing about 12 to 15 reps of any exercise with intensity enough to build some muscle. And I'm going to give you a really good example. Now, I could use this kettlebell, it's 12 kilos, I'm going to lift it 4 times. 2, 3, and 4. Now, if my plan says 4, I'm going to stop at 4, but I can actually do more like 12, okay? So let's carry on going. 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. And now at this point, I've probably got about 5 reps left in the tank. I could probably do about 18. So if you're a beginner, you could stop there. That's fine. You don't need to go any heavier than that, right? But if you're a little bit more advanced and you're getting into training, I'm going to try and replicate what it looks like. I could get to 15, 16, and I can't do any more. That's the point of failure. And that's where you need to be getting to if you're a little bit more advanced or if you've been lifting for a little while. And the reason being is that that failure point is the point where your body starts to struggle so it can start to build more muscle. It puts the muscle under enough load for it to go, hang on a minute, I don't want to do that ever again. So when I recover now the next day or 2, I can come back and be stronger to do it again. So number 1, you've got to get training. And if you don't know where to start with a resistance training program, I've got a full body strength program that's been downloaded nearly 2,000 times. It's free, I've had some amazing feedback, and you can get that by hitting the link down below. So jump over, get that free PDF. But you've got to be working hard enough for your muscles to adapt and to change. And so many people that I see in our facility don't actually work hard enough. And I do this sort of test quite a bit with our members. They've been coming to the gym a little while and they're exercising and they do their gym plans and it says 12 to 15 reps and they stop at 15. And I say, hey, how many more could you do? And some of them will go, oh, I don't know, 10? Well, you're not working hard enough. And I'll sit there and make them do an extra 10 reps and say, look, you could actually do 25 reps of this weight and this exercise, but you stop at 15 because your plan says so. But what the plan is meant to say is, yes, 12 to 15 reps, but that 12 to 15 needs to be very, very challenging. And what's normal, and what's normally going to happen is that you may say do 3 sets of 15. The first set is 15. The second set is 12. And the third set is 10, okay? And now that is a great way to know if you're lifting a heavy enough weight. And that is so normal. And then what you do is you do the first set, and then the second set, you try and push it a little bit more. You try and get close to that 15. And then over a period of time, you get first set's 15, second set's 15, third set's 12. And when you can bring all 3 sets to 15 reps, that is when you can put the weight back up again and start pushing again into those rep ranges. And the next consideration you need to make as well is that you must be doing enough volume per week. And volume just means sets times reps times weight. Basically means you need to be hitting about 10 sets per body part every single week to be in a place to grow some muscle, all right? So on the screen, you can see that when we follow full body workouts, we actually do this relatively easily. And you can see that the first exercise is a squat. And that is a quad dominant exercise. And you could do, say, 4 sets on Monday, 3 sets on Wednesday, 3 sets on Friday, and that is 10 sets of quads per week. And that's your sweet spot to start building some muscle. Then you got the second muscle group, which could be glute bridges, and you work on your hamstrings and your glutes. Same thing, 4, 3, 3, 10 reps or 10 sets per week. And you can see I've done it with 2 more exercises as well. And if you do that and you follow this plan, hit the right intensity of your workouts as well, you know that you're getting the exact right amount of resistance and sets per week to start building some muscle. So that's going to be the first thing, how you fix it. Okay? So if you're not resistance training at all to start with, download the PDF, start doing it. And if you already are, then use these guidelines to make sure you're doing the enough at the right intensity. Now we've hit the muscle building component. Now you're going to do muscle building right. Next thing you're going to tackle is your weight loss, okay? And a lot of people are trying to lose body fat at the same time as building muscle do this wrong. They think they have to bulk and then cut. I need to eat more calories. But the thing of it is, if you already got a lot of body fat on your body, you've already eaten those calories. Therefore, you do not need to eat any more. So you need to put yourself in a calorie deficit. And a calorie deficit puts you in a place where your body starts to use body fat for fuel, okay? And that is a great place to be. And how you do that, first of all, you need to understand how many calories you need on a daily basis. There are lots of calculators out there. I feel that is a lazy way to understand your calorie deficit. I've personally lost over 20 kilos and I've kept that off for 16 years. And the best thing I found was to actually test it myself to figure out exactly how many calories I need. And I do this with our clients as well, because I understand a calculator is just a calculator. It does know nothing about you individually. So the best way to go about this is what you do is you download an app like MyFitnessPal, okay? And it's a free app. You don't have to pay for the premium version, just use the free app. And then what you do is you start to weigh out your food. And when you weigh out your food and you track your calories, you will start to see over the course of 7 days exactly how many calories you eat per day on average. And the weekend might be higher, the weekdays might be lower, but overall you'll be able to understand your average daily calories, right? Now, if you don't put any weight on and you don't lose any weight in that first week, that means that you're on your calorie maintenance. And then what you do is you may look at the week and go, do you know, on average, I eat 2,000 calories per day. Now, if you want to start to lose body fat, then you need to reduce your calories by about 200 to 300 calories per day. This will help you start to burn about half a kilo per week, roughly. Certainly, as long as you're going to start doing tip number 3 as well, okay, and exercising. And this will be the place you start. Now, what I want you to understand is that your body weight will fluctuate every single day due to fluid or bathroom stops, wherever that is. So what you're going to do is you're going to weigh yourself every single day for a couple of weeks, and you're going to take the average weight of the week, and then over time the average weight will decrease. So sometimes I weigh a kilo heavier than I did yesterday. I just know that's normal. It's just my body is like 70% water, so therefore I could be more hydrated or dehydrated, but that's how you work out your calorie deficit. And people will always say to you, you can't build muscle in a calorie deficit, but you actually can, because if you're overweight right now, you already have those calories. Think of it this way. Let's just say I turned up at a building site. There was all these spare materials everywhere, which is my body fat, and I started to build a house. There's so many materials there that I can just use what I've got without having to buy any more materials. That's what muscle building and being in a calorie deficit does. You've already got the energy on your body in terms of body fat, and then you can start to build muscle by hitting the right amount of intensity and the right amount of sets per week. Then you've got your muscle building and calorie deficit sorted, and therefore you can now start to build muscle and lose weight at the same time. And we have clients that do this all the time. In fact, some people don't even worry about their diet. They just come in and start weight training, and the body does a recomposition. One of my clients this week actually came in, and we've been training together for about 6 or 8 weeks now, and she hasn't lost any weight at all. But what she did find was her trousers were a little bit looser and she's way stronger, but her weight was the same, which means that she's lost body fat, gained muscle in the same time, but her weight has stayed the same. And that is body recomposition. That's what you want to get to. Now, you may find if you get to low levels of body fat, it's really hard to build muscle. Because if you get down to say maybe 12 or 15% body fat, your body starts to protest a little bit that you're losing too much weight, and therefore it becomes hard to build muscle. So what we kind of do, we try to maintain and body composition in that space. So you're kind of like just robbing Peter to pay Paul. You're losing body fat, you're building muscle, your weight stays the same, right? But most of my clients do have a lot of body fat to lose. Therefore, being in the calorie deficit and resistance training is the place you need to be to start doing that. Now we've fixed resistance training. We've now fixed your calorie deficit. And by the way, if you need a free resource around being in a calorie deficit, there's a comment blueprint down below. And I will send you a calorie deficit blueprint. It's 10 steps that you can follow as well, and you can get yourself in a calorie deficit. The third mistake I see people making is they're either not doing cardio or they're doing the wrong type of cardio. And the cardio that I like to use is a zone 2 kind of cardio. And zone 2 just means about 60% of your max heart rate, because it's the place where your body burns the most body fat, or burns fat for fuel. And it's a place that you can do this every single day, because to build muscle and to lose belly fat, you need to be more active, obviously, and you need to be resistance training. So when you do zone 2 cardio, it helps create the calorie deficit. So you create it from food, you create it from cardio, and it gives you a much easier time to start losing weight. And the fitter you get by doing zone 2 cardio, the more you can do in the gym, the more muscle you can potentially build. It helps clear waste from your muscles as well. It helps with the nutrient delivery to your muscles, whether it be protein, and is a great place to be in. Because you don't get injured and too tired and too sore from doing zone 2 cardio, it lends itself very, very well to muscle building and both losing body fat at the same time. Now, the fourth mistake that I see people see, and this is the biggest one. Are you ready? You are not consistent enough, or you may not be consistent enough. And the thing of it is, if you're trying to build muscle over the age of 50 anyway, we already established that we're losing 10 to 20% of our muscle mass every single decade. And it's going to take you time to build that up. And like I say, we're not trying to build slabs and slabs of new muscle. We're trying to build the muscle we've already lost. So let's just say you've lost 30% of your muscle mass. We're trying to build the muscle that we've lost. We're not trying to build new muscle yet. We need to replace what we've lost. And if you're not consistent with your resistance training, you're never ever going to do that. And you're always going to be on the back foot, because we know as aging comes, we lose muscle mass. And if you're not proactive, you're not consistent, you're not going to be able to do that. So I'm going to give you a really simple tip for you to stay consistent with your resistance training. Number one, you got to have a goal. You got to have a goal and a reason why you're doing it. So some of our members say, look, I want to be old enough to play with our grandkids. I want to be able to go into retirement and do that big long walk. Or I want to be more active, whatever that is for you. But it's got to be emotional. It's got to be driving you towards that goal, okay? And the second thing that you got to kind of worry about as well is that just do the bare minimum. So let's just say you can't commit all the time 3 or 4 days a week, right? Just do once, because it's way easier to maintain the muscle you've got by doing one strength session per week than it is to continue to build. So you may have periods of the year or your life where you said, you know, I can only get to the gym once this week. Brilliant. Just do the once, okay? And if you just do the once, you're going to be maintaining what you've built. And then when you're ready to step back up and do the 2 extra sessions a week, you're in a good position to do it. But as soon as you stop, you start losing muscle again, and the whole thing starts again, and it becomes a big sort of giant headache and really hard and really difficult. So if you're trying to build muscle and lose weight, you got to do all those 3 things. Resistance train at the right intensity and the right amount of sets per week. You got to be in a calorie deficit. You have to be then doing your zone 2 cardio, and you have to be consistent with your workout, okay? So I hope you enjoyed the video. If you have any questions, please let me know down below. Grab those guides that I've just mentioned to you. There's also another one. There's also another link in the description for, for all the stuff that I've got, which is free resources to help you. So check those things out. I'm going to leave a video up the top left-hand corner, which I think you will benefit from. So head over to there. I'll see you on the next video.